There are certain types of people who seem harmless. But if you're someone who values self-awareness and inner growth, these people can quietly pull you into chaos. And the scariest part is, they often don't even know they're doing it. Let's be honest, life would be easier if everyone came with a warning label. But they don't. So we learn the hard way, by trusting the wrong people, giving too much energy to someone who drains it, or questioning ourselves because someone made us feel like we were the problem. This video isn't about judging people. It's about protecting your peace, your growth, and your clarity in a world that constantly tries to blur the lines between real and fake. Carl Jung, one of the most influential minds in modern psychology, had a lot to say about this. He warned us that the people who project the brightest, cleanest image on the outside are often carrying the most hidden shadows on the inside. And if you're someone on a journey of healing, waking up, shedding your conditioning, you'll definitely meet these 5 types of people. They might even be in your circle right now. So stay with me until the end, because this isn't just a list of personality traits, it's a wake-up call. And by the time we're done, you'll have the inner radar to see through their masks without needing to say a word. Let's start with one of the most overlooked and most dangerous types. Type number 1, the rule follower who never questions authority. They follow the rules. They do what they're told. They trust the experts, believe the headlines, obey the instructions. No questions asked. On the surface, they seem responsible and good citizens, but Jung would urge you to look deeper, because beneath that compliance, there's often a deeply buried shadow, a disowned part of themselves that's terrified of their own power. These are people who live by the book, because they're afraid to open the one written inside themselves. They trade their intuition for external approval, and ironically, the ones who are the easiest to control are often the most controlling of others. They resent free thinkers and roll their eyes at people who question the status quo. And if you challenge their worldview, they'll shame you, gaslight you, or worse, call you dangerous. Why? Because you remind them of the freedom they've exiled within themselves. Jung called this the shadow, the part of our psyche that holds all the qualities we disown. The more we deny our own dark side, the more we project it onto others. And that projection becomes blame, control, manipulation, all under the guise of morality. These people don't just comply, they recruit. They need everyone else to follow the rules too, because your rebellion threatens their illusion of safety. And here's the twist. It's not that they're evil, it's that they're unconscious. Their identity is fused with what society told them is right. So anything that questions that feels like a threat to their very existence. If you've ever felt drained around someone who plays by the rules and pressures you to do the same, this might be why. Type number 2, the ones who think you're weird for not drinking or smoking. I've met them, and you've probably met them too. The ones who look at you sideways when you say, "No thanks, I don't drink." You'd think you just confessed to being from another planet. They'll laugh awkwardly, throw a little sarcasm your way. "Oh, you must be fun at parties." Or worse, they'll press, "Why not? Come on, have some fun." But what they don't realize is that your choice makes them uncomfortable. And it's not even about the alcohol or the cigarettes. It's about consciousness. Because when you stay sober, especially in environments where numbing is the norm, you become a mirror. And mirrors can be confronting. Your clarity reflects their avoidance. Your presence reveals their performance. Your self-awareness makes it harder for them to stay hidden behind the group mask. Carl Jung would call this a shadow confrontation. Most people don't want to wake up. They want to feel normal. And if you choose differently, your very existence exposes the parts of them they haven't integrated yet. They project their discomfort onto you, label you weird, boring, or too serious. But beneath that projection, there's fear. Fear of being seen. Fear of being judged by someone who isn't playing the same game. Because when everyone's numbing together, it feels safe. But the sober one, that's the wild card, that's the unpredictable one. That's the person they can't read or control, and that scares them. But here's what's beautiful. Their reaction isn't about you. It's about the part of them that's still trying to belong, even if it means self-abandonment. So, if you've ever been made to feel like the odd one out for simply being conscious in a world that profits from unconsciousness, I want you to know, that's not rejection. That's resonance breaking the illusion. Type number 3, the helpers, who use kindness as control. These are the angelic ones, the caretakers, the overly generous, the I'm just here to help types. At first, they seem like a gift. They cook for you, they give you advice, they check in constantly, they go out of their way to support you. They're always there when no one else is, until you stop needing them. Then suddenly, something changes. The warmth turns into guilt, the support becomes pressure, and you realize their help wasn't free. It came with invisible strings attached. Jung would say this is the shadow of the caregiver archetype. At their core, these people derive their identity from being needed. Their self-worth hinges on their ability to save others. But when you heal, grow, or start to stand on your own, they feel abandoned, even threatened, because your independence forces them to confront a truth they've been avoiding. Who am I if no one needs me? And instead of facing that, they'll unconsciously sabotage your growth. They'll make passive-aggressive comments. They'll remind you of how much they've done for you. Or worse, they'll start planting doubts in your head, making you feel like you're selfish for wanting space. But here's the real warning. These aren't bad people, but they're often operating from unhealed wounds. Childhood roles where love was earned through service, or where their emotional safety depended on caretaking others. The danger isn't their kindness. It's the emotional contracts they never tell you you've signed. So how do you protect yourself? You learn to distinguish love from obligation, support from control, presence from possession, and you give yourself permission to grow, even if it means outgrowing people who once felt essential to your story. If this is resonating so far, pass it on. Share this with someone who's been second-guessing their own intuition lately, because these patterns are everywhere, and seeing them clearly is the first step to freedom. Now let's continue. Type number 4. The perfect ones who never seem to struggle. They wake up at 5 a.m., drink celery juice, do yoga in sunlit rooms, post about their flawless morning routines and gratitude journaling, followed by beach workouts and a soul-aligned six-figure business. And somehow, nothing ever goes wrong for them. On the surface, they look like living proof that life can be perfect if you just work hard enough, think positive enough, manifest correctly, follow the rituals, and keep your vibe high. But Carl Jung would see this a little differently. He didn't trust perfection, because he knew that when someone presents as too flawless, they're usually not whole. They're split. These people are often running from something, a deep, buried discomfort they've never made peace with. And instead of facing that shadow, they compensate by overachieving, over-curating, and over-projecting perfection. The danger is that you start comparing your real, messy, and authentic life to their highlight reel. And slowly, you begin to believe that your struggles make you less than, that your anxiety, your grief, your occasional chaos means you're broken, not evolved. But the truth? Wholeness is not about appearing perfect. It's about embracing your contradictions, the light and the dark, the wins and the wounds, the progress and the pain. These perfect people often haven't integrated their shadow. They've just decorated over it, and without realizing it, they can make you doubt your humanity, subtly gaslighting you into thinking that being human is a problem to fix. But it's not. Being human is the point. So if you find yourself shrinking in someone's presence because they seem to have it all together, pause. Ask yourself, are they inspiring me or making me feel like I'm not enough unless I perform a role? Jung would remind you, the path to authenticity doesn't look blessed all the time. It looks like falling apart and finding yourself again. And anyone who can't admit that isn't free. They're just polished. Type number 5, the spiritual ones who gaslight you with enlightenment. Finally, the wise ones, the yogis, the healers, the high-vibe mentors who speak in quotes and chakras, the ones who seem to float above earthly problems and radiate peace. Until you share your pain. Then suddenly they say things like, your soul chose this. It's just your karma. Pain is just an illusion. Let it go. You're just attached to your ego. Or my personal favorites, your frequency attracted this into your life. What does this reflect to you? These are the spiritual bypassers. Jung warned us about this too. He said that true spiritual growth requires integration of the shadow, not escape from it. But these people, they use spirituality as a way to avoid real emotions. They bypass grief with mantras. They dodge accountability with destiny. And instead of sitting with your pain, they reframe it until it's no longer yours, but just another lesson in some cosmic school you didn't sign up for. It might sound poetic, but when you're hurting, what you really need is someone who can witness your humanity, not edit it. Spiritual bypassing sounds peaceful, but it's a form of emotional gaslighting because it tells you your feelings aren't valid, that your trauma is a choice, that your heartbreak is just an illusion to transcend. But Jung would say, that's not enlightenment. That's avoidance dressed in white robes. True consciousness embraces all of it, the rage, the sorrow, the longing, the confusion. It doesn't escape the shadow, it walks with it. So be cautious around those who turn every wound into a spiritual slogan. Because while they may sound evolved, they often lack the one thing true healing needs most: empathy. So what do all 5 of these people have in common? They all carry one thing: a disowned shadow, an unacknowledged part of themselves they've buried, denied, or rejected. And when we bury something in ourselves, we project it onto others. Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. These people aren't your enemies. They're mirrors. Mirrors of where fear still runs the show, where identity is built on roles instead of truth, where the inner child still seeks safety through control, performance, or pretending to be good. And maybe at some point, you've been one of them too. That's the deeper twist. This isn't just about being careful of others. It's about becoming conscious of what they awaken in you. Because if someone makes you feel guilty for not following rules, ask yourself, where have I silenced my own voice to stay safe? If someone shames you for being different, ask, where have I betrayed my truth to belong? If someone tries to control you through kindness, ask, where have I confused love with obligation? Every trigger is an invitation. Every projection is a teacher. So be discerning. Be wise about who gets access to your energy. But more importantly, be radically honest with yourself. Because the more you own your own shadow, the less others can control you with theirs. That's the work Jung pointed us to. Not fixing others, but reclaiming ourselves. If you're the kind of person who values inner clarity over surface validation, who wants to understand the deeper layers of human behavior and your own, then this space is for you. Subscribe to Fractal Wisdom, where we don't just talk psychology. We live it. No hype, no noise, just grounded truth, deeper insight, and the kind of perspective that actually frees your mind. Because the more conscious you are, the less power unconscious people have over you. And that's a life worth building.